What up, though? I'm Shigeto. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm a producer, drummer, and once in a while I DJ. This morning for breakfast, I had an egg spinach aioli crepe from Brew coffee shop in Chicago. It was insane. Soft scrambled eggs. One thing I never travel without is something that smells good because it grounds me. You're in a different place every day, and scent is such a powerful sense, and I think that if you have something familiar to smell around you, it just makes it a lot easier. The first thing I do when I wake up is make a cup of coffee. Depends on the day, really. Cream or black? I mean, usually black, but sometimes, you want some cream and sugar. My earliest musical memory, I'd say I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, watching the drummer at any given wedding I'd be at with the family. And I just would sit next to him or her and be in a complete trance. I started playing the drums around 5. My parents actually got me a little mini Remo drum kit, but I couldn't play. And they went into my closet. And then I think about 5 years later, maybe I was about 10, I pulled them out and I could just play. And I think it was just time passing, brain maturing type of thing. My favorite movie soundtrack back, like growing up, was definitely the Crow soundtrack. I was super into just industrial music, Nine Inch Nails, and Nin's cover of Joy Division's Dead Souls really did it for me. You don't like seahorses? Fuck you. Who's the multimedia artist? Oh man. It was one of the first viral movies I ever saw of this it looked like the Geico lizard. Drinking out of cups or sipping out of cups or something, but it really didn't hold up well. I watched it a couple months ago and I was like, whoa, this is not cool. The last album I listened to was Craig Kilby's Satori, and I listened to it quite often, maybe once a week. Craig Kilby was a, rest in peace, trombone player and composer who toured with Etta James. And in the late 70s, he recorded an insane session with Brian Jackson and Mike Clark from the Headhunters, and then produced it into this incredible kind of fusion funk jazz record called Satori that really went under the radar. And then a friend of mine put it out on vinyl for the first time, I think in 2020. And it's just one of those records. It's a life-changing record. Anyone watching this, go check it out. Craig Kilby with 2 Ks, Craig Kilby, Satori. It'll change your life. There Will Be Blood, maybe? Aisle seat for sure. I just need to be able to get up. And I'm small, so I can't even imagine what it's like if you're tall. Analog or digital? Both. Analog is usually the source of my sounds, and digital would be what I'm recording with, because I don't have reel-to-reels. The digital is the sequence, the recording, and the analog is the sounds. My ideal setting for listening to music would either be a really small, intimate club with a great sound system, or the car. Car test is a must. I do the phone test, but I try to just not even think about it. The most unique venue I've performed in, besides obviously this elevator, was I once played a house party in Columbus that was an old underground railroad safe hold. So I got to go down into the basement and go through the trap doors, and the energy there was quite intense, and it was a really amazing experience. My ideal hotel would be no bed bugs, fast internet, and hopefully some free coffee. one of many small everyday pleasures for me is just going out of my front door, sitting on the porch, and I live across the street from a park. So I get to just see the whole neighborhood and all the kids hanging out. And it's just an everyday, lovely thing. I think my favorite season is fall. I like layering up. I like the leaves. I like the chill, but not too cold. There's something very cozy about fall. I don't think I have a favorite BPM, but I do think that 105 to 115 is kind of a golden tempo, much like the golden hour. My most used app, unfortunately, is probably Instagram. If I could take an elevator ride with anybody, it would probably be Ryuichi Sakamoto. I'd be like, hey man, you want to collab? No. in the ether? No. My latest obsession, funny enough, is actually making mixtapes. I've just been pretty fed up with the way that we ingest music, and you can discover new artists, but all you can find is what's on Bandcamp, Spotify, etc. So I've just been making tons of random mixtapes, giving them to friends, selling them at shows, trying to just create more music out in the ether, in the world that is not tied to some sort of digital platform. And I've become very obsessed. I've bought like 6 tape players in the last 2 months. There's a lot of good restaurants in Detroit, but I would say one that has my heart is El Rey Taqueria. They have the best grilled chicken, and I thank them on the inside of my album on the new Monday. They're just really close to my heart. El Rey Taqueria. I'd say I do my best work when I am with others that inspire me. A sound I'm obsessed with is honestly kind of the classic dark jacking Chicago sound. So I'm really hyped to be here today. I've been obsessed with it forever though, since I was a listener. But that's just something that has always really, really resonated with me. I make a joke that even though I'm Detroit and my heart is with Detroit music, my kind of soul secretly is with Chicago. A creative risk that I took that completely paid off was moving from Ann Arbor to New York with the attempt to be on Ghostly International. 15 years later, here I am. Shout out Ghostly, shout out Sam Valenti, shout out Jacob Alexander, Jeff Owens, love y'all. A film that changed my life recently is actually the documentary Zero Gravity on Wayne Shorter. One of the best jazz docs I've ever seen, and it's primarily Wayne Shorter speaking to you. So it's not like interviews with people that are saying what they loved or what they remembered. It's actually him just speaking to the camera. Like he said something like there's 2 most important moments in your life. It's the moment you're born and the moment you know why. I'd say the only way I know when a track is finished is when it gets chosen to be released. Everything is kind of an unfinished book, and then when it's slated to be part of a project, then I kind of go back and finish it up. I would say I'm not a good traveler in terms of my punctuality. I've missed quite a lot of flights. What I'd like to discover in the world still is the capacity for empathy. I think the hardest lesson I learned in the music industry is that it is definitely not a straight line, and that you have to remember why you're doing it, that you'd be doing it anyway, whether you were making money or not, and that you could be in a really solid place and then not be, but it's really that underlying need to create that keeps you going. When a song idea first hits me, I think I definitely hear melody first. I'd say the crowd's energy shocks me the most when I'm playing in a city that is less known. You know, you go to places like LA or New York and it's a big show, but you know, they're used to that. So maybe when I play Omaha, Nebraska, or some small town outside of Mexico City, then all of a sudden people are crowd surfing. An artist that I'd love to work with and haven't yet, so many, but Erykah Badu. Detroit has influenced my sound and identity as an artist in countless ways. But I think one of the most crucial ones is the attention to quality control and not making any sort of compromise for your vision, and the work ethic. There's more record labels in Detroit than there is grocery stores, and that's not even a joke. And Detroit's pumping out records constantly, and in this day and age, a lot of people want to just do digital because of costs. And a city like Detroit that has less resources than most will still put the records first. I think being a drummer shapes my sound in the drummer way, I guess. I think in rhythm. My melodies are more based in rhythm. Elvin Jones, Tony Williams. Now we're getting there. Max Roach, Stuart Copeland. How many fucking faces are on Rushmore? Oh man, my live sets are 100% a different world from my recordings. I guess in the most major way, these days I travel with a band. I try to have at least 3 people with me, and there's a significant amount of improvisation and usually a lot of music that has never even been released. So it's a whole different thing. I feel like if people wanted to hear the record, they should just listen to the record. So the show should be as different as possible. Oh, I'd say I stay grounded from touring and traveling and all the chaos. These days, treating my body a little bit better than I used to. My go-to dish in the kitchen is mapo tofu. Is there a song that pairs with the mapo tofu? Something spicy. My heritage and upbringing has definitely influenced how I like to portray myself as an artist, but not as much my sound. People used to be like, yo, I can hear the Japanese. And I'm like, hey, that's just a pentatonic scale. What I didn't know about myself until I started making my own music is that I basically hear music in only 2 keys, D minor and E minor. I think I have extremely bad taste when it comes to choosing something to watch on TV. I think I spend more time stopping it and going back and deciding what else to watch than I do finishing a show. It might honestly be about my experience as a musician being Japanese American and how that ties into my love of black music and how being mixed has allowed me to just experience things and be accepted and have prejudice and privilege. I think one of the best pieces of advice I got early in my career that sticks with me to now is that the world doesn't know the work you're putting in. The world doesn't care how many beats you've made in your bedroom or how many hours you've DJ'd. You have to share it. You have to get your tracks off the computer because it doesn't really exist until it's out. And so the perfect debut doesn't exist. You have to just go. I'm going to be biased here. I would really love to see Tammy Lackas, but I'd also really love to see the Chicago legend Trax, one of the most incredible DJs I've ever seen in my life, but also one of the most underground. So good luck.